Kene ka gbobole ya fo no ko fi oni kwa bobonu woje
chika kwa no aka ke ni negbe se mo fi okwe ba ye mi ba
o me se egbe aka iyo ya ke ntumo se mo gba mi wo loko fi mi
ke be no ye no ko ba
o loko ba ko me na mi ntumo se
ma o fa ne bo won ta wole aga o ye ko
oh lo fine ana zon ke shifu fulengelenge ko yen wonu emi express un fine ni chale 7 ni je ngolo ba yen fine she me go me get poison one ni tree ba for fio she na mi ke mo go yo poison gbo.
Coaching is putting your thinking into action. That is what coaching is about. Now, I studied them, I showed them, I revisited the match they played against us. Then I saw that we gave them enough space to operate because they have 4 techniques. The boys, the 14, 20, 10, 8, 12. Very, very with the ball when you give them space. So we try something called space for them to maneuver.
In terms of power play, it's zilch. If you watch our game against Mali, the young man was running away from taking the ball. He didn't want it. Give me away. He was practically running away. He was running away when we were claiming the team. Anytime an attempt was made to him with a pass,
he's running away.
He's running away, leaving the ball.
Hiding
behind opponent. This whole Telemundo, it's something that sometimes
for the uninitiated, Telemundo is a channel that shows
it's a soap opera. It's winding down. So let's call Extramadura man from Extramadura man. Mora, when the boy is coming to the player, he's running away. You know what's the game? And shockingly, there's a certain miraculous acrobatism.
No, Mrs. said, Master, son, players at the mommy. Sakim CH. Where? Sakim CH. Aha. Timo Verna. What's that? Timo Verna. Aha. Caves. Why? Caves. Caves, I saw is a sister circulator, Munya more. Sister circulator, only more. I almost say a Brazil anyway. Ya sign on. Brazil anyway. Almost I said, Silver, so I say, me, Adam, I'm not going to need my job. Go marry. No, you see, I don't need my job, go marry.
So you refuse to punish them?
They're not the punishment, it serves you right. No, not the punishment. See, you choose love, that will do. Football no day, only charter go marry.
Yeah.
So if the footballer, see, from August 2019 to December 29, we don't play football. You don't marry. We start league after we fall. You say they go marry.
That be the time where money catch.
No. So you choose love over career. And so if today you get the start, I thought that this matter they are.
Does Don Bote still want to play football? You are 36 years old.
About the age.
We cannot forget about the age, Don. You are 36.
Yeah, 36. You doubt 36. In me, forget about the age. What you want me to come and do for you?
You still think you can perform at the highest level?
Why?
In Ghana?
Yeah. Not in Ghana, sir.
Anywhere?
Yeah.
You train?
You see, that's what I'm saying. Them themselves, they don't believe themselves. The coaches don't believe themselves. They are not real coaches. They don't. You have to believe yourself that no, this guy can do it for me. If you believe me, I can do it. But so far as you just relax yourself, no. If I can,
league team were to give you an opportunity to play, you act.
Ghana, yeah.
Yes.
I can play pass all the current players.
That's
all the current players in Ghana Premier League.
That's a serious statement coming from somebody who hasn't played in almost a year.
You know something? I know myself. That's why I said, if you don't know.
Yeah, every blessed player will decide to score, and then to decide to catch the ball. So when you both decide together, then you make the chance. I decide differently, and he also decide differently, and our decision was together. That's why he was able to catch the ball. So I think next time I'll raise my head and watch the goal post and put the ball.
You have 3 or 4 phones. What messages have you been receiving?
I haven't even read them because messages. No, not at all. Look, they still calling. Phones are calling.
Welcome again to the best 90 minutes of your life. Benjamin Nketiah here, Sports Panorama, Friday night. You are live. The Ghana Football Association's Status Review Committee have been busy. We'll be talking about that. There's been talk of the FA President Kojo Yankah running unopposed for a bit. This have big...
Wow. It's so unnecessary. Very, very uncalled for. First and foremost, the third term. Is there actually a need for that? For me, look, I completely disagree with whatever that third term seek to achieve, because they've not actually told you and I why the need for a third term. Because I believe that if you want to put something forward, you should try and justify why it should be that and not what the... Because we had unlimited terms. Agreed? That was what it was.
And we saw how that turned out.
We all saw it. So when football underwent a proper reform, involving FIFA, involving the government of Ghana, normalization committee, everything. So, okay, 2 terms will be enough. I think the 2 term is perfect. So if the current administration, and led by Kojo Yankah, thinks that you should set up a committee to review what? The committee that was set up, what was their actual mandate? And all they could see was to seek to extend the mandate from 2 to... They should... Look, I think it would be better if they don't put a term limit to it. Yes.
You mean if this is how they are going to go?
It is... Don't put a term limit to
every time there's a election approaching, you do another one and say, okay, let's make it 4.
So
let's make it 5.
Let's take it away from it. So that we know that I'm unlimited. I can stand for as many times as I want. Once I'm voted for, I become the president, and so be it. I think that is completely... And look, I am begging and asking the delegates, when they go to Congress, they should just brush that and throw it in the dustbin and let our football move forward. Then they say what? From 12 to how many members?
23.
You see, all these guys are paid, though. Do you know that? At the end of the month, they are paid, though. I stand to be... And I think, yes, they are paid. I think we sat here and we know how much Kojo Yankah takes, how much the ESCO members take, how much they're taking. Even per diems alone, you remember? We did a program to that effect. 12 members. Can they point to one legacy project or one thing that they have done that we can all stretch our hand and point to and say, because of this or that, if we were to increase the numbers, our football is going to go to the next level.
Have they given a justification as to why?
There's no justification. That is why I have a problem. There's no justification for why it should go from 2 to 3 terms. There's no justification from why it should go from 12 to, look at, they didn't even say even 14 or 13 or 15. 20 what? 23. You want to add 11
and to bring some context to it. Now, when there was the normalization committee headed by Dr. Kojo Yankah, they left some recommendations.
That's right.
When they were leaving. Now, and I'm just reading a bit of it. So it says no. This is according to Article 37, Clause 4. Now, 2019 statutes says no person shall serve as president for more than 2 terms of office,
Exactly.
whether consecutive or not. Any other member of the executive council, including the vice president, may serve no more than 3 terms of office,
Exactly.
whether consecutive or not. Any partial term beyond 24 months shall count as a full term. Previous terms served as vice president or as member of the executive council shall not be considered in determining the term limits of a president. So I think that they are trying to undo what the normalization committee put down.
You see, look, I for me, if you listen to what you just read, and you were to juxtapose it against what they are saying, I think it looks like the normalization committee actually did think through these things properly. Why would you take from 12 to 23 members? And then if you are thinking about what? 2 vice presidents, I think it would be better if you just say, if we have a lady as a president, let a man be a vice president. Or if you have a man as president, even that one, I will have problem with it. Even that, I will have issues with it. We don't need 2 vice presidents. We don't need that. We don't need that. Because, look, have you felt the impact of the current vice president?
Have you even felt the impact of the president?
Let alone the vice president. Our game is in tatters. Tomorrow, or by the end of Sunday, we are hoping to get a league champion in a very compromised league. Because I can sit in the comfort of my home and I will say this team will win by this number of goals, and it will happen. And when you go and you watch the football that is being played, and you watch the type of goals that are being scored in Ketia, you weep for our game.
And we don't have any strong teams in the league. You play 34 matches and you are going to win the league with 60 points.
It's
not good enough.
You see, instead of them to be thinking about how to make our football better, all they are thinking about is what they should do to enrich themselves. That is what it is.
Hold your thoughts there. I'll come back to you. We have a former ESCO member, also former RFA chairperson for the Western region, Mr. Kojo Yankah. He has thrown his hat into the presidency for the upcoming FA elections. Mr. Yankah, good evening and welcome to Citi 97.3 FM.
Good evening.
It's good to hear from you. You're not somebody who speaks a lot in the media. You pop in and out, but you have resurfaced, and it looks like this time there's something serious on the horizon. First of all, how long have you been harboring ambitions to become FA president, and why has it taken you this long to emerge?
Everything has its time, and this is the time. If the time is not right and you force it, it must be a different time. So this is the time to emerge, to also seek from the people of football to be the president of Ghana football. So this is the right time.
I mean, just to even pick up from what you said, for you to throw yourself into a race like this, you must believe that you have solid backing from football people, and also, I mean, generally the football fraternity. Is that the case? Am I getting that right?
Exactly. You are getting very right. Exactly.
Tell me a little bit about this administration. You've observed it for, 3.5 years? You guys have been out of office for a while. What can you say that this administration has done that requires you to come in to fix the situation?
Let me say this. I have a program, and then for now, I'm declaring my candidacy for the presidential of Ghana Football Association, which possibly might come on in October. So whatever I have against this administration and whatever I want to do to move Ghana football into another level, I'm putting them together and I'll come out very soon. So forgive me, this is not a time for me to come out with my program and my plans and whatever this administration. I have a lot to say against this administration. By the time it's not set yet.
I mean,
so I'll come out later on.
When you say later on, can you give us some timelines to when you come out formally? Because your declaration has set a lot of conversations going.
Let me say this already. The roadmap even is not out yet, and I have planned myself to the roadmap, so I cannot come out now. I'm waiting for the roadmap to come out. When the roadmap comes out, but for now, what I can say is that there's no unity in the football fraternity, and there's no love. We used to have a lot of love for ourselves. We used to have some unity. Now that thing has eroded. It's not there anymore. That's two things I can say for now against this administration. Because if you could all remember, the president came out to say he cannot work with his enemies. And this statement gives a lot of football people pain in their heart. Who is your enemy? And it's very bad, and it has shown some kind of, yeah.
Okay, so you say that there's disunity in the football fraternity, a lack of love as well. Let's talk about recent developments. Now, the Status Review Committee, like I just mentioned on the show, have been proposing a few interesting changes to the statutes. For instance, they want a 3-term limit for the FA president instead of the current 2 that we have, 2 vice presidents, and an expansion of the ESCO to 23 members. What are your thoughts on these things? Because these are significant changes to the structure.
Is it that they are doing it for themselves, that just immediately after the 8 years, or is it a long-time program that they want to bring for the association? If it's a long-time program, like let's say we implement it some 5 years, 6 years, but if it's immediately, I don't think it's proper. I think 8 years is enough for any individual who wants to be present for the association to make an impact, to bring the association into a level that we will all be happy. We don't need 3 terms. We don't need it. So I don't support that. But at the appropriate time, I'll come up with a broad message on that.
Let me also just...
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Let me also just speak to you quickly about the league before I wrap up this interview. Meteors could be crowned champions by this weekend. We've had a league that's been plagued by some match-fixing issues. Ash Gold and the FA are still in court. Questions have been raised about the credibility of our league. Where do you stand on issues of league credibility? And also, what do you think can actually be done to get the product of the Ghana Premier League to be a tad better than what we have now?
Like I said earlier, I'll come out on all these matters at the appropriate time. Forgive me for not answering your question now, but it's a strategy I'm mopping up. So I'll come up. I'll say a lot. Sorry. I'll say a lot about it. But please, not today, because I have my strategy.
We appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you very much, boss.
So a very evasive Kojo Yankah there. Looks like he wants to keep his cards to his chest for most part. Nathan, let me take your thought.
Let me finish with what I was saying. You see,
Okay,
I
finish
said
up.
something about there isn't the need to expand this. Look at the amount of money people take. For example, if you look at Keto Kreku, every month he takes home 12,000 Ghana cedi. When he goes per day for his international assignment, the Ghana Football Association pays him $500 per day, a day. Then,
where are these figures coming from?
Oh, these are issues. These are facts. They can't dispute them. It is there. That's the money he takes. Then he takes 600 Ghana cedi per day for every domestic travel. 1,600 Ghana cedi as sitting allowance for every meeting he holds at the GFA.
You should abolish sitting allowance.
GFA the vice president is paid 7,000 Ghana cedi every month. Then each ESCO member, the 12 of them as we speak, they are each given 4,000 Ghana cedis a month. This is the information I have now. There are more to it. Because when they also travel, the vice, when he travels per diem, let me call. So if you say we should move from 12 to 23, with the status of our football, where are you going to get the money to pay all these people? No more like I'm saying there. Look, we are getting closer to the elections. So many things will come up. Some of us are preparing a whole docket. Why Keto Kreku will have to be voted out of office? Because he's the brain behind these 2 to 3 terms, brain behind 12 to 23 members, brain behind. What is this? You are not doing anything to impact, to transform our game. Rather, you sat on this platform and say you will create wealth for all. Rather, you are creating wealth for yourself and those closer to you. And our game is suffering. Please, bring out the roadmap. Look, there will be no postponement. Nobody will hide behind the AFCON to say because of the AFCON, if we were to vote in the new president, there will be this, let's and see. The elections will come on. Look, in October, whether they like it or not, they will have to do the elections in October. And the football people, when they go to Congress very soon, they will make a very clear statement to the president and the ESCO people. You will not postpone this election. It will not happen because our game has been reformed. We will not go to the days where Anayantechi, where we have to vote and say, because there's an immediate tournament, there's this, that, so let's postpone. What is that?
You remember the last Nyantechi re-election?
Yes!
It was done.
What is that?
I can't believe that, how quickly that election was finished and everybody was whisked out of the...
What is that?
How, man?
It will not happen again, oh. Look, all those rough tactics, all those Afghanistan sort of tactics will not wash. We will use the Ghanaian tactics to stop it from happening.
No, don't say Afghanistan tactics. Maybe you want to say Taliban tactics.
Okay, Taliban tactics.
Taliban.
Talibanic. The Talibanic tactics. It will not wash. Because we will not allow it to happen in Getia. Bring out the roadmap. We are in the month of June. So July, August, September, with almost roughly 4 months to go to the election. You are not telling anybody anything. But rather, you set up a committee to talk about extending your term limit.
Honestly, I have to say,
What is this?
I'm disgusted by this increasing the EXO.
What is that?
They are paid money.
Yep.
We don't have money for our league.
We don't have money for
we don't have money for so many things. But
Post football, you can't fix your pitches. Look, put all this money together. It can maintain all the pitches we have in Ghana. All the Premier League pitches, put it together. $7,000, $12,000, $500 per diem, 1,600 Ghana cedi, sitting allowance.
I think sitting allowance should be legal. Okay.
What?
Can you take money for a meeting?
For a meeting that you are being paid for at the end of the month.
Is it not your work for a meeting? Imagine if you said that every time we do news meeting, you take money. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine?
Kamajiska pao.
Kamajichi.
But let me get into it. I think that's for those who follow Ghana football. in 2019, when the normalization committee was signing off, if you were at that Congress and you saw the demeanor, the mood of the football people, you could clearly see that they were not happy with some of the policies that the NC were leaving. And so I'm not surprised with these changes in the statutes. Now, one.
You think that football people wanted 3-term limits?
In 2019, you could clearly see that they felt the NC was imposing some of the stuff on them. And so...
Was that not generally just being disgruntled that non-football people were handling you?
And so they thought to make the NC go, they just agreed to what the NC proposed in 2019, and they knew that in years to come, they will have the chance to change that. And so when I saw this statutes changes, I was not surprised. Now, in January 31 this year, I wrote a story on citisportsonline.com with the headline, Extend Tenure of GFA Presidency. GFA Statutes Review Committee proposes. So this has been in the pipeline for a long time now. Now, look at the members of that committee. There's Dr. Randy Abe there. There's Naudo Fule Norte. There's Eric Opon Yeboah, Uluboy Commodore, Fred Echampon, who is an ESCO member. And these are all close ties or have close ties to the GFA president.
He appointed the members. So he will put people who will sing his song.
Now, let me get into it from this angle. Look at, first question is, why was this term limit put in place? And I thought that the reason for this term limit was a very good reason. We were coming from a presidency where
how many terms?
He went
there was no limit.
You went 3 terms, right?
Yeah, 3 terms, 13. He was just going and going and going. And if not for that NAS expose, Nyantechi would have been president for life.
You'd have still been here today.
Yes, he would have been the GFA president for life. And so the NC thought that, let's try and solve the situation here so that one man will not be in power for too long because power corrupts. And so when you stay in office for too long, power may corrupt you. So let's bring this term limit and then see how things will go. Then there was this 8-year mandate, 2 terms. Now, my first issue with these changes is this. We've not even tested how the 8 years works for us.
No, Achaki.
That's my bigger problem. We've not tested the 8-year tenure to see whether
you mean after 3.5 years you shouldn't be thinking about you shouldn't be thinking about 9, 10, 11 years.
Because why do we have to even think about term limits? Because the person who's there has not even finished 1 term. So why you can't tell us that we are doing 3 terms? Are you basically telling us that the election I just come to do it to show us because he's going to get the 2nd term? So we need to plan for the 3rd term.
He will have the shock of his life.
What are you trying to tell us?
Which is totally wrong.
It's a strange time to be discussing a 3rd term when we are not even in the 2nd term.
See, the term limit is to solve a problem. To see whether something will work for Ghana football or not. We've not even, done exhausted that to see whether the term limit 8 years works for us or not.
I'm neutral on the whole term thing as a principle, but where we are, there's no need to discuss it.
Yeah, we need to see whether the 8 years works for us. How did Kojo do in his first 8 years? If it's really good for Ghana football, the next president will come and be like, okay, if Kojo was able to do 8 years and did well, you can also use your 8 years. So we have a yardstick to judge whether our GFA presidents are doing well. So one, the timing for this discussion is totally off because we are gauging the solution to a problem that we had. And so this is not a time for us to go back to where we were trying to get into term limit again. Now look at the expansion of the GFA presidents, the vice presidency, and the ESCO members. And I asked yourself, we were here before, the number was brought down because we thought that let's solve all these issues. Now, the GFA president works with the RFA chairman. And these are the people
who actually run football in the country.
Yes, and together they form the quorum for the ESCO now. I think that expanding it now will be more of a job for the boys. We'll have several people on the ESCO who will not really do anything significant.
We end up putting them on management, national team, management team members.
What we have now is good for us because we are testing something to see whether it works. And for me, once you've not really had issues with this ESCO working or not, you don't need to expand it. For me, I don't see any reason why we need 2 vice presidents. Mark Ado, as the sole vice president, sits in meetings when there's no Keto Kraku. Ghana football is ongoing. I don't think any of us here
They have to
has
explain-
any issue
I
with
think
how the
they
ESCO
have
is
to
being run
explain-
so far.
Justification.
They haven't
You
even
see-
explained to us why.
I feel
They'll
you,
say they are
you-
even
you
to the
need
football people, they can't explain why this. Why this.
I feel you need changes when things are not working for you. That's when you need changes.
If it's not broken, you don't
At the moment, no one has said the ESCO now is not doing good for Ghana football. No one has said that the vice president,
That's what some
the
of
one
them.
vice
You
president,
see,
is
let me
not
tell
doing
you.
well.
You know what? One of the reasons some of them have saying that if they keep the number at 12, most of them will lose the next election, and they will lose whether they expand. They will lose the election. That's why they want to expand it to keep themselves still there. You are going to lose because you've been shambolic in your dealings when it comes to running football in this country.
For me, how I say it is
Remarkable.
this: the brain behind the expansion could possibly be that there are several of their members who have missed out on being ESCO members because of how small the number is.
Please, and so what?
So if we expand it, then all these people will get the mandate to be on the ESCO,
But you see,
which
this is-
doesn't make sense at the moment because we are solving a situation here. We are solving a problem here. And now I look at the timing of this. They have the next Congress on July 6th at the Great Hall of the KNUST. I feel that football people, we always say, oh, they are easily manipulated and all that. I feel this is a time for them to speak out about this. That the timing,
they will receive the shock of their lives at this Congress. Most of these things will be. You throw them out. Send a message to the man.
I was at the last ESCO at Pram, and look at how they easily say yes to the policies of the GFA. You ask yourself, really? Did they really scrutinize some of the policies?
But that is like a cabinet. The cabinet will not throw out the policies of the person who, formed the cabinet.
See, the yes sir, massa, is too much.
Let me tell you why it will happen or why it happened there. That was not an election year, so everybody needed to save some face, so that you are not you are not sort of
Vindicated,
victimized. That's the way it was.
So they have to say yes,
I'm telling you, 6th July, you see what will happen. No, come on, 1 year why? 1 year why? We are dealing with look, the sort of revelations we will bring with facts and truth. When we vote, no more. Eya Moshiogbo. Oya Moshiogbo Obaya.
Wrap it up.
In summary, I feel that the timing is wrong. Football people must be able to speak out to this and tell the review committee that, see, we would have loved to make these changes, but let's see how the 8-year tenure will work for us. Let's see whether this small ESCO membership will work for us in the long term. If all this doesn't work for us, then in some few years to come, we can call for the changes. At the moment, once it's not broken, you don't fix it. Simple.
Interesting thoughts there.
12,000.
So let me take your thoughts on this before we move on.
I think all that needs to be said has been said for me. I think it's very brief that this suggestion at this time doesn't make sense. Because unless you are telling us what you have seen before doesn't work, if that's what they are telling us, but you need to explain to us why these suggestions and why the reason. The term limit there, I think, is way too premature. It's way too premature. Like, because if you are talking about a term limit, you bring up term limits when people are approaching the end of their limits.
That's it.
You can't bring it up after the first one. I don't know why they're in a rush. And to be frank, I don't see the good job that he has done for us to even be thinking about giving him 12 years. Maybe if you give him another 4 years, he'll shape up and do something good. It's very possible. We don't know what the future holds. But as it stands, I don't think we can be impressed with what we've gotten, because Ghana football was in a horrible state after the whole number 12 Kojo Yankah thing. So when you come in, there's a lot riding on your shoulders. There's a lot people are expecting of you. And if we are not, look, we are still complaining about our league. That was one of the biggest failings of Kojo Yankah. The Black Stars were doing well, but the league was dying. And this is now affecting the quality of players we are getting. We are not able, look at how many, and I always say this, I don't have a problem with the foreign-born players coming to play for the Black Stars. But it can't be that, unless, like, they are the stars of the team, they are the talent base we are looking to the most. Because as we are here, we are competing with them with other countries for them. If they were so good to play for Germany, Netherlands,
they won't come and play for us.
They won't come and play for us. It's telling that that's what the type of players we are getting. And that's why when we go on the world stage, we won't be able to compete as well because we are getting players who are more or less rejects for their country they were born in. To be frank, and it's not their fault because there's so many good players in so many countries, but it can't be where we are going.
Michael Essien was not a reject. Sule Ali Muntari, Stevie Appiah, Baby Jet, Anthony Anna Mekanibi, they were not rejected. They came through the ranks. They were our boys. And because we're up to the world standard, when we got there, we all saw the impact they had. And
honestly, for me, I think the most painful thing watching Ghana football is how poor our youth development is. You can see we are lagging behind in youth football. And that's where it all starts. Even Germany, who had won 3 World Cups, reformed their youth development because they wanted more World Cups. They won 3 World Cups.
Guess who was on this beat just this week? The legendary Tony Yeboah.
Yeah. Yes.
Tony Yeboah says Ghana football is dead.
It's dead.
No, seriously.
He has to. He wanted to invest.
Yes, and he said. And let me just paraphrase. He says a league where monies are paid and you cannot trust the credibility of the league is not something he is willing to spend his time on.
And that's very.
He says if we care about our football, we should go back to developing the youth. Says if we
and do you know who the charmer of youth football is in this country? It's Kato Kreko. And we have not played. Since he became charmer of youth football, we have never completed 1 juvenile league season. I challenge them.
And just to finish it off, that Germany, a 3-time World Cup winning country, said that we are winning World Cups, but we are not winning at youth level. So clearly there's a disconnect. So we need to start winning at youth level so we can win at all levels. 3 World Cups. Yeah. That's the standard. At the time, the most World Cups of any European team, and they still wanted to be better.
That's it.
We've not won an AFCON since
41 years.
And we are not even primed to that, we have to do better. So I think the GFA, they can say all the things they want, but there's a lot of key KPIs that they are severely lacking in. Youth football, poor. Our league, poor. And there's honest, even the facilities, some of the
poor at tournaments too. AFCON, poor. World Cup, poor.
Even now,
under 17 girls banned.
Yes,
no under 17.
Even me, I don't want to talk about the national team because the national team things go up and down, but the basics, the foundations is not good enough. So that's where I stand on this. That even if he's re-elected, there's a lot of improvement that needs to be done. And maybe I'm not as hardline as Coach that he has to go at all costs. But things have to improve. Things have to improve.
Nathan, let me just take your thoughts and then we'll wrap this conversation up. Something struck me. I mean, Kojo Yankah didn't say a lot, but something struck me. He says that the love is lost among football people. And that a statement that was made when Mr. Kreko took office has had ripple effects in the football community. Ironically, Mr. Okreko's one notable tagline is "Bring back the love." Somebody who is looking to contest says that there is no love among football people anymore.
I mean, Kojo Yankah, he's a football person. He can best explain when he says there's no love, whether there's love. Listen to me. Like we've all have said, when I first heard the story of this term limit, and I agree with a lot of the things that the guys have said, the first thing that I asked, why? Why?
What's the justification?
Why do you want to do this? There's an election in October. Go to that election. Why are you thinking of extending a term limit? For what reason? Why do we want to do this to ourselves?
Look, you can even go and sleep today. You won't wake up tomorrow. And you swear.
So I just find that decision to even think about a term or like extending the term of the GFA president, I find it a little strange.
Very premature.
And I think that they should shelve it very quickly and put it somewhere. Because you see, there's work to do. Look, like Susu said, we have so many things we are dealing with. We are dealing with a league where people are not going to watch games. The other day, there was a stat from one of the Asante Kotoko games. Less than 1,000 people went to watch a game in Kumasi.
A whole Kotoko.
It's Asante Kotoko playing. Less than 1,000 people went to watch it.
That's the height of apathy, honestly. And you would think that when things, when things are not going too well economically, people are struggling.
Officiating.
People don't even have football to kind of cool their hearts.
You understand? So
number 12, officiating. You saw what it did.
Yeah, I saw it.
Still, there's bad officiating.
So there are things to do, and we just want the current administration to understand that the work is not done. The work is not done. The work is not done, and I've said it 3 times. The work that requires or that needs to be done to transform Ghana football is not done. The people in charge of football know it. The people running for the Football Republic, they know that the work is not done. And they know there's a lot to do. But what strikes me concerning their disposition is this. It's almost like war, conflict. It's you against us. You know, you are
if you don't accept the things that we say are good for us, then you are our enemy.
We cannot run football
Because look, the General Secretary is on record to have said that they don't get criticized by the clubs. But it's rather the media of Ghana that criticize them.
No. Okay, so if that's
what's
the
the
case,
meaning of that statement?
That clubs don't criticize them.
Because maybe the clubs
think they are doing great.
They are happy with what
It's the media that always finds fault.
No problem. 18 Premier League clubs and how many Division 1 clubs? They are saying they don't. Are they saying that everything is fine with them?
No, he cannot speak for them.
Yeah, so
because
so clearly
they will always be
victimized.
victimized
The
when they
people at
speak
the
out.
FA cannot say that the clubs don't criticize them. In any case, what kind of environment is this where if you speak out, you get victimized? You see, the people at the FA need to understand something. The GFA is like any other association. They are members, and the members will have concerns. So when they raise their concerns, listen to them. It just so happens that the association is dealing in something we are all emotionally invested in, which is football. So that is why we all say what we say. Yes, I don't have a vote because I'm not affiliated to a club. But I think that all of us are stakeholders because when the games get played at the stadium,
if you want us to
our stake is to hold the people accountable.
If you want us to go to the stadium, then you say we should come. But when we say things, you don't want to listen.
Yes, we go and tell the stories, but we also hold the feet of those in power to the fire of accountability. That's what we do. So please, the people running the FA, this thought of term limit, please put it aside because there's work to do. We are not saying that the FA is doing zero. We see what they are trying to do, but the point is that there is still a lot to do. When you look at Ghana football now, in this current state, are we happy with it? Are we happy with Ghana football? Where we can't get 1,000 people to go and watch a game? Where pitches are in horrible state?
When you mention it, it's a blame game. Oh, it is Koko's fault. They should be promoting their own games. Oh, why are they not doing this? Why are you journalists talking about the EPL? Oh, why? It's always everybody else but the center of the attraction.
Footballers saw playing our football doing normalization. Even the season that Samuel Bredu alone has a folk.
We could tell that there was they literally had to break the gate at the stadium.
Yes, great Olympus.
So we know that there's
passion for it.
But suddenly, a season later, people don't want to watch the game. Do you think that the same fans last season who were so excited, who were breaking basically they were out of control to the point that's how much they wanted to watch football, and now suddenly no one can. Well, last time Hearts played Olympics, you don't even remember it happening. It just came and passed like nothing.
So those are the things the people running football should be concerned with. Do we have eyeballs? Do we have people coming to the game?
Is our marketing machinery the best?
Working? Do we have enough money? Are we paying players well? Is the league selling? Are we building more youth footballers? Are we creating more footballers? Do we have a plan in place so that in 10 years, players who are 16 today will be 26 and can represent us at the highest level? Those are the things that should keep people up at night. Those are the things that should drive people to work every morning and say that I am here to change Ghana football. Not some of the things we see. So the people running the FA, you need to have your Congress. But to the Congress people and whoever, this idea of term limits, you put it away. It should be the last thing on anybody's mind at this point because there is work to do. There is work to do. There is work to do.
How many times did you say that?
3 times.
Thank you, my brother.
20,
Thank you.
23. For what?
Show proudly brought to us by Betway and Shell Helix. Also, Bell Beverages holding us down. Oh, Charlie.
I'm for far away.
Oh, Charlie. Tell me the smoothness level of your puka, my brother.
Charlie, the puka no be easy.
Charlie, Come on, Lakabo, insemi.
Ose me.
Insemi nuni.
Oh, Charlie.
No more. Look, if you've
my
not
bottle
tasted,
is almost done.
Look, if you've not tasted puka before,
Recharge the African way. Do I need to explain this?
In this very hilarious weather.
Thank you.
No more. Puka no in kasheji or me.
Okay, feel mini.
In kasheji or me. Lakabo.
Whatever that means, coach.
No in kasheji or me. Kota no na me share.
That be wanting to take excite
in body.
In body.
Go trinjo. Me blamojo.
Hey.
Agbani Dio. No,
It's okay. Recharge the African way.
Nah, I'm recharged.
You're recharged there. Thank you. Phase 2 coming.
Yeah, I'm saving mine for tomorrow.
Hey, this one.
Yeah, I'm saving mine for tomorrow. You know, I'm going to put in the fridge. It's going to get ice cold.
Oh, you know the one with the frosty look. No, white little specks.
With ginger-like kelewele.
Combo.
But
with the dry one.
I was thinking about having it after my kinky. How about that one? Or that one is
it will make sure the kinky sinks.
Okay, so my Saturday lunch is kinky. So after my kinky, I'll just chase it with a puka.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Get your puka and recharge the African way. Don't say I didn't do anything good for you. Let's talk about Ghana's Black Meteors. Ibrahim Tanko has dropped the provisional squad. It's a 29-man provisional squad that includes Ransford Yeboah Koenigsdorfer. And as Nuyama has swept all the awards in the Danish league, he's in the mix as well. Kamal Dean Suleimana also made available for this tournament. Let me go through the full list of players where they play their football, and then we can talk about it briefly before we move it on. Danlad Ibrahim of Asante Kotoko is in there. Emmanuel Eso, Legon City is in there. Aziz Dari of Bechem United is there. Dominic Insobila of Accra Lions has been in there. He's been around the national teams for a minute. We have Emmanuel Appel of Gold Stars in the mix. Ashikwe, Great Olympics in the mix. Samari Abbas of Accra Lions in the mix, really good player. Hafiz Ibrahim of Atram Devise is in the mix. Sylvester Simba of Dreams FC is in the mix. Godfred Waki of Adriana is in there. Augustine Randolph, Karela United is in there. Ebenezer Dai of Dreams FC is here. Emmanuel J of Atram Devisia is here. Aaron Essel, Bechem United. David Opon, Kim Faisal. Fatau Isahaku, Sporting Lisbon. Enes Nuyama, FC Norgeland. Daniel Efriye Barnier, FC Zurich. Jordan Emisa, Sheffield FC. Zubeiru Ibrahim. I think it's Jedinstvo. I'm not getting the name. Well, I'll try and get that name for you again. We have Ransford Yeboah Koenigsdorfer of HSV here. Emmanuel Isiam of FC Basel. Nathaniel Ejay of Hamabi. Emmanuel Akomensa of FC Honka. There's Terry Yegbe of SJK. Emmanuel Yeboah of Cluj. Kamaldeen of Southampton. Salim Adam of Cincinnati. And Kojo Poku Mahala of LA FC. Kojo Poku Mahala. Pichichi, you followed the Ghana Premier League pretty well. Among the local players invited, which of the names stands out to you, and I mean, why for a tournament like this?
Well, I think these guys have always been in the Black Meteors team. I think he's just called the key members of his qualifying team, those who played in the qualifiers. Well, obviously, goalkeeper was Dalal Ibrahim. He was quite solid for them during the qualifiers as well. And the left back, Ashikwe, as to why we get to see him play at the left back for the national team is quite interesting, though, because at Great Olympics, he plays more in an advanced position. But when it comes to national team, he looks to be our preferred left back. So I think that looking at the team, Sylvester Simba also looks like a very solid player for Dreams FC. He was part of the Chan team that went to the tournament in Algeria and they didn't really do well. But clearly, on the ball, he's a good player. So it's just a core of the team that's featured mostly when it comes to the qualifiers for this tournament. Having done well against Mozambique and also that team that played against Algeria. So for me, it's a good blend of the local boys who has always been around Coach Ibrahim Tanko's team, and then those who are coming from the foreign front as well. Now, look at their lead striker, Daniel Efriye Barnier. it hasn't been the best of switch from him since he moved to Switzerland.
He's been warming the bench
for
out
Zurich.
there.
And that's my major worry
A
here.
lot for Zurich B as well.
Yeah, that's my major worry there.
And
Look at
I just want to touch on that. It's not even to disrespect Bani, but if you notice, a lot of our players go
and then they have to
play B, they have to play C or
Yes,
whatever.
it speaks a lot to their level.
It's about the level. That is what the people at the FA should be looking at and trying to improve.
Now it's still struggling.
Still struggling. You can't get
Exactly. But basically, this is a team that have played for him all this while. My major concern here is how the discussion with Afena-Gyan ended
I was
and
about
why
to
he
say
missed
this.
out on this team. That's where, because I look at the team now, I felt, yes, we saw how things went in the qualifier against Algeria, declining to play for us then, and I felt that time has elapsed. Why not try to re-engage Afena-Gyan once again? Cremonense have finished their season in the Italian Serie A, relegated. He's available now, and so I thought, okay, could we have engaged him once more to see if he's available to play for us or not? He misses out. It tells me that coach doesn't have plans for him at the moment. Nonetheless, it's still a good team. I think that on paper, we've called all the best that we can call. Mohamed Kudus misses out slightly because of his age. Yeah, he misses out. But aside that, I like the fact that we are bringing some of the experienced guys on board. Kamaldeen Sulemana is in this squad. I hope that when he comes, he's able to play with his teammate. His football must change. He must be able to play with his teammate. I like the fact also that Enes Tuyama is there once again. He gets to play for the Black Stars and then join the Meteors after our qualifier against Madagascar. Ransford Yeboah Koningsdorfer. I think we've always been wondering why he gets the constant Black Stars.
10 minutes, 2 minutes.
This should be his level. This should be his level. This is where I feel we need to get to see him more. And then if he's able to do well here, then we can say, okay, he merits the constant Black Stars color that he gets. So for me, I think it's a good squad. They are going to Egypt on Monday to put the final preparations together. This is a good team that should be able to go to the tournament.
A lot is riding on this team. We are trying to get back to the Olympic level.
And I think Coach Ibrahim Tanko has learned a lot. In 2019, he saw how he missed out on the tournament. One thing he shouldn't forget is to work on penalty kicks. It's important for me. Penalty shootouts must be part of our routine as we go to this tournament. Who knows? That could be what could lead us to Paris.
Nathan.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about.
Talk to me about the Koningsdorfer. I mean, like Pichichi mentioned, have you been able to fully appreciate his profile as a player, what he brings to the table?
I mean, what we do know is that every time we've brought him in, we've tried to play him through the middle. Now that Iñaki is not available, I think that's why he was brought in.
I think that was a mistake, personally.
At this level, it's an under-23 team. Sometimes the players get overawed by the occasion, the fact that it's the Black Stars. I hope that he can show his worth to Coach Ibrahim Tanko. Look, we say a lot of these things, but Olympic Games football is very important. Because for a lot of these players, a lot of these guys may not have tasted under-20 football. This is the closest they will get to playing top-level football.
And a lot of the legends of the game have played Olympics
and
football.
a lot of very serious players have played
Kun
Olympic
Aguero,
Games
Di Maria, Lionel
Sergio
Messi.
Aguero.
Yep. All played in the same
Angel
team
Di
at a
Maria.
point.
I don't know whether Johnny B. Mikel did. I can't.
Yeah,
remember.
he did.
Kanu Nwankwo.
Even Ronaldo played at the 2004 Olympics, I believe.
He didn't win anything, though.
Why do you have to say that?
Ronaldo.
Why?
Ronaldo. Yes, 96 Atlanta. He scored against Ghana. I remember we lost 4-2 in that game. So it is important, and we need to treat it as though it were.
He must skip the Copa America to play.
Go and play the Olympic Games. So it is important. This squad looks good. You have some of these guys, Kamaldeen Sulemana. And I think for some of these boys, they need to see this as an opportunity to remind Chris Hughton that they are still very viable options for the national team. So for a player like Kamaldeen, this is a good platform. You are playing with your age mates. So there's no tension, there's no fear. Show what you have. Show your skill. Right? Isahaku, show what you have. The local players who have been called, Simba and others, show what you have. Because for a lot of them, the CHAN was a horrible experience. And that CHAN performance is the reason why none of them made... That's why none of them made Chris Hughton's squad. So for a lot of these guys, they need to show what they have. But my bigger concern has to do with Ibrahim Tanko. Look,
talk to me about Tanks.
I was not impressed with Tanko's management of the team 4 years ago. I was not impressed at all because you had 2 chances to book a ticket to Tokyo. And the team did not take it. You can argue all you want and say it was down to a shootout. Some of those games could have been killed off in regulation time. So I hope that now that he has generally better quality than 4 years ago, they will make use of the opportunity and go and qualify. Because Olympic Games football is big stuff. It's high-level competition. And it's the last thing you will taste before you transition to the national team proper. And sometimes I feel that some of the youngsters suffer in the senior national team because they haven't experienced this transition where they are playing for medals, they are playing for pride, they are playing for big status, and they don't know how to handle it. So I'm happy that some of these guys have been called. But Ibrahim Tanko, we beg you, don't waste this opportunity. Do not.
It's a very simple. It's a big second chance for him.
Finish in the top 3. So make the final. You make the final, and even if you don't make the final, finish 3rd.
So you
go to Paris because it is huge. It is huge. It's in 2024. When some of these guys finish playing that competition, it will open doors for them. But more importantly, it brings them into the attention of the Black Star selectors that these guys have done well at Olympic Games level. Let's move them on. Asamoah Gyan played it in 2004. And it was part of his grooming to be a senior national team
from
player.
then on, he became a striker.
So a lot of these, Ibrahim Tanko needs to take this opportunity for himself and for this team. If they get it right, they are going to play in the big time. And that's Olympic Games football.
I just want to add something small. I'm happy that they've named some of our more exciting players. So I look at Enes Nyama, and what he's done at Northern. I was very excited to see him called up for the Black Stars. Now, me even more excited for him to play this. Because I think, honestly, he's going to be the best player at the competition. Hands down. Because from the form he's coming in to this tournament in. When you look at the other players.
And for a winger, he's very durable.
Yeah. When you look at the only games he missed was suspension. So when you look at the other players in our squad and the level they are playing at, he's playing for a top flight team. He's the best. He's the best player in the Danish league. It's not that the Danish league is a top
best player in the Danish league, best young player. Best
it's a different level from when you see someone like Isaku, who's playing a lot of Sporting, but not getting too many minutes for Sporting, who has been a star player, until this point. Look at Kamaldeen. He really didn't impress in the Premier League. And I think the fact that we have some of these players who we have seen even impress a little bit for the Black Stars is good because it shows that we are taking it seriously. And that's why I want us to take it seriously because at least if we are not going to be winning at senior level, let's win at youth level. That's the very minimum.
Okay, for me, my only worry is the fact that I don't like it when we are going for a tournament and coaches tend to call too many players for a training session. I don't like that.
It's not 29, that's a professional.
Yeah, I don't.
So you would have wanted 23
straight. 22 straight. Because look, at the end of the day, it makes the coaches' work even more difficult. You don't tend to, because I think the tournament starts, I think on the 6th of July or something like that. Yeah. And if you are going to spend 2 weeks working with close to 29, almost 30 players, it doesn't help anybody.
You would have wanted this time to be spent on the team itself.
On the team itself, because there's absolutely no time to go and do weights. You see, you are going to mess up if care is not taken. Because at the end of the day, we are in a very difficult group.
Yep.
You should be working with those guys who you believe you are going to use to get the job done. But if you call, so from what Pichichi just showed me, we need to be taking 22 players to the tournament, isn't it? Or 20 to 23. 20, yeah. So we've got close to 7 more players in addition. We don't need that. We don't need that. It adds extra cost to the state. Because at the end of the day, you end up dropping 7 of them.
7 of them.
And Ibrahim Tanko cannot tell me that having been around this team for so long, you cannot pick your 23 up to now.
What do you think his thinking is? Big pool of players to trim down to 23.
I'm shocked. That's why I'm shocked.
We do these things with the Black Stars too.
And it never works. The serious nations, when they're going to a tournament of this nature, they don't add provision. I put them on standby. if somebody were to get injured, then you fly them in, but you don't take all of them there.
I think it's because maybe he's worked with a certain crop, a certain set during qualifiers. So, I mean, this might sound very funny, but you take them along, let them feel okay, part of the team.
They've been paid for whatever. You see, they've been paid for whatever job they've done. They've taken their winning bonuses if they've been paid. We are going to the tournament proper. Take those players you know who are going to do the job with. Because, look, if you go there with 29 players, even when you set up the training session, not all of them tend to fit in. While some will be sitting down and watching. You don't need that at this moment. Yeah. So, I mean, that is my only disappointment.
People will be cut from the team and then they'll be upset.
They'll be upset.
It can destroy the chemistry of the team.
There'll be some leaks from the camp, all sort of things.
Yeah, somebody who's not happy about how he was dropped.
I agree with you, because I mean, if you had a set number.
Look, we saw most of these boys at the Chan. For example, the Simba. Is it because he plays for Dreams FC? Hey, Bob, look, we saw him at the Chan, and it was like a template. The coaches at the Chan felt that he needed to play every game, came in as a substitute.
Augustine Randolph had a terrible Chan tournament.
Yeah.
He's back in the mix.
And he's back in the mix. Why are we doing these things to ourselves? You see, when it is about selection of players into our national team, look, we have to be very uncompromising. You have to be straight to the point. There's not the time to be pushing players because they belong to this ESCO member. They've got teams. They want to actually increase their numbers from 12 to 23. So more of their players will go to... What is that? Stop these things and let's be serious. And for me, look, I'm concerned about the form that some of our players are taking to the tournament. Like the goalkeeping department like this. I'm worried. Truth be told, the Kotoko goalkeeper, he's not being himself.
He's lost his place at Kotoko. He's no longer number one.
Yes, he's no longer number one there. He's not being himself. And he's the number one goalkeeper of this team. And we are going to a tournament. We saw his performances at the Chan. We saw the sort of mistakes he committed at the Chan. So we need to do things properly. We wish them the best. The last time we saw our team at the Olympics, I think it was in 2004? It's been so long a time. Please, we support you. Support Ibrahim Tanko. For me, he's my brother, he's my good friend. It's been a while though since I spoke to him. But at the end of the day, I really want to see him succeed.
Yeah, I mean, we all
do. And you see, I hear that he still owed some money. I use this.
These people, they don't have contract too.
Yes. And you know what? He's also money from the previous, from 4 years ago.
You see, coach, that's my problem. If you take a job and you don't have a contract and you are owed money, how will you even fight for your money? Even if you decide to take the issue to court, how will you fight for your money?
We need to have a serious conversation around national team coaches who are employed without the requisite paperwork.
Listen, I have interviewed ministers on this. I have interviewed FA people on this current FA, the former FA. All they tell you is it is in the pipeline. It never comes out of the pipeline. The pipeline is full. It is choked by now. It never ever comes out of the pipeline. But I don't blame the FA. I blame the individuals who take the jobs without contract.
Exactly.
I blame them.
So don't complain.
Malik Javed still asking for his money's owed him when he was coach for the Meteors.
Imagine.
Yes.
How many years ago? How is he going to? How is he going to?
How much at all is that money? How much is it?
We wish the Meteors well. We are keen on seeing who makes the final 23 squad, who gets cut. But let's move it out. Let's go to the golf, because that's where all the juice is. Hopefully, like my boss Bernard Avle says, they need journalists soon.
Talking about Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Oh, they've released their team of the season.
I've seen it. It's okay. We don't need to hear. Don't tell me about it. It's okay. The people who have made the teams to make the teams.
Just let me give you the attackers.
I don't.
Get the attackers.
We are moving on. That's not the topic. Shall I call security to come for you from your seat? What's the meaning of this? I don't want to discuss any Saudi team.
You don't want to know the team. You just want to know the attackers.
Nobody here cares about the Saudi team of the season.
You want to talk about Saudi.
This young man wants to misbehave in the studio today. Better behave yourselves here before I call security. Let's talk about What is going on?
See,
Culture of silence.
Then we need to just know that target. Someone needs.
You are trying to back the protocol of the show.
wait,
The protocol of the show says we are discussing transfers.
Yes, but we are in Saudi Arabia. So
We are in Saudi Arabia.
So what do you want to do?
Additional news.
what
Agama
you
Lizard
want
is
to
this?
know who made the team? Just the attackers. There's one person that want to know that he made the team or not.
It's not necessary.
You know what? I'll tell you who did make the team.
No.
Odin Igalo.
Odion Igalo.
Igalo made the team.
Igalo made the team.
What about chairman?
Who's chairman?
Oh,
Charlie, this conversation is unfair. This conversation is officially over. Let's talk about bad boys. Let's talk about what is going on in the Gulf and why everybody and their uncle is headed there.
So when we are talking about what's going on in the Gulf, we can't go.
There's money.
So this week, it has emerged that Karim Benzema has officially completed his move to Al Ittihad. They are defending champions of the Saudi Pro League. 3-year contract, close to 400 million euros, including everything else, including commercial deals and everything. 400 million. And then we are hearing that, N'Golo, Krodo District, Kante. Coaches. They say, no, listen to this. They say they gave N'Golo Kante an offer he could not refuse. See, when rich people do that, I'm happy. They say they gave him an offer he could not refuse.
I hear when
the meeting with Florentino Perez and Benzema. You see, there was a news that he announced that he was leaving.
Yeah.
Then it came down
that he says,
Then he went to Perez.
Hey.
400 million.
I hear he told his very good friend, like when he heard the amount on the table, he told his very good friend that who looks at 400 million euros and says no.
Can you say that in French for me?
He says, qui va voir 400 millions d'euros et puis il va dire non. Moi je vais pas dire non.
Non.
Je m'en vais.
No.
The only person who can say no is
I can't really gummy. A Florentino here.
No.
Ota no care me ake. She no about 400 million.
But guys,
it's funny because you said
400 millions d'euros.
Yeah.
And then you say no. Nah.
But guys, watch this space. So the reports, not
But
substantiated
Messi
though.
supposedly said no.
No,
to
yeah. The reports say that Mohammed bin Salman, who is Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, has allocated an amount of $20 billion to be able to improve the standards of the Saudi league.
This is not
soft power.
Because you have to remember there's a slight rivalry between the Qataris and the Saudis.
Yep.
So once the Qataris hosted
the
this
World
World Cup, got all this praise, the Saudis will have more money.
They are targeting 2030.
Yeah, they have more money. They are going to think to themselves, if small Qatar
can do this.
Exactly.
we can do it.
And let's not forget, in the last few years, Saudi Arabia, you mentioned soft power, and I'm happy you did. The Saudis have been trying to enhance their image globally. That's why in the last 5 years, they've done all kinds of interesting things.
Even the CAF Super League, they've put a lot of
CAF Super League.
They financially
They've
back
hosted the Spanish Super Cup finals. They've hosted boxing events.
I think the Italian Super
Anthony
Cup.
Joshua
Yeah, they've done WrestleMania.
WWE.
Now there's a Grand Prix.
It's not the WrestleMania. It's the special WWE event just for Saudi Arabia that they do there every year.
And there's a special Formula One event that has gone there as well.
So they do have the money. And what they are trying to do is now have the eyes of the world on them. And like Susu rightly said, there is a bit of a rivalry. Now, Qatar pulling off the 2022 World Cup was a bit of a shock to the system of the Saudis. Now they want to fight back and get more people to come there, So it's very interesting seeing all these moves. And it's very interesting seeing that they are plucking all these footballers to give them a lovely exit paycheck. And all of they don't care. The point is that they just want to tell people that if you come to our league, there's Karim Benzema, there's Cristiano Ronaldo, there's possibly N'Golo Kante, and there's whoever who plays there. So it's
and then you look at it, they love their football. You look at the sort of reception they give to Karim Benzema.
Yeah.
And tell yourself, these Saudis love their football.
You always you say a lot of positive things about the Saudi league until it's time to talk about my chairman. It's fine. I'm going on. It's okay. I'm going to read my messages. It's okay.
We have to give him credit. Right now, he's gone from finish to being a groundbreaker. He's changed the
Someone has
narrative.
done well.
I can't
Someone has
believe
done
it.
well.
It's fine. It's okay. It's fine. Let me read a few messages. This one here says, "Nketia, Fido from what is this? Mthatha. Okay, South Africa. Greetings to all Bobu of 2008. Liverpool forever. Full Panoramians here. Interesting. Lambert from Dodo says, good evening, Ben and team. I have seen news that Sheikh Jassim's bid has been accepted. It's not true. It's not true at all. This one here.
There.
Huh?
Almost there.
Charlie, what is that? I can't read this election. Divine.
Behave.
Better behave yourself over there.
Divine.
Charlie. Oh, Charlie.
Once we appreciate the sentiments, we can't read them.
Fine.
Charlie. This one here.
From a Shaiman too.
Good evening, Ben and team. This is your usual bedroom Zion, Guardiola Williamson. Charlie, you didn't misbehave.
This week, Zion Williams.
Charlie, he's catching all kinds of straight. Even now, I've seen new news, but it's fine. It says from Labadi, Nathan Kwa is now the unofficial hype man for Numo. Finally, Yao Dabo has taken his talents to South Beach. Football will forever miss Yao Dabo and Pendo. Charlie, I think by Yao Dabo he means Lionel Messi. What?
I'm very disrespectful.
But you know that maybe we'll talk a bit about the Messi situation. But it's a story.
I feel like we need to spend more time on it.
Yes,
so we'll definitely expand that probably next week. Kweku from Koforia says that at the start of the season, Dr. Tamaklo said on a sister station that he'll do everything within his power to get Samuel Boadu sacked because he believed Hearts' problems were technical. The club has now lost 6 out of the last 7 and are just 3 points above the relegation zone. I hope he's happy wherever he is. This one here,
I don't like this.
Charlie Lambert says that I think what the Saudis are doing is the same thing China did and it didn't work. They are building the top of their league without a proper foundation by bringing in top players with big salaries. It will end like what the Chinese did, in my opinion. Messi will live.
I just want to clarify that part of that 20 billion is also going to youth development. They are sending coaches outside to learn. And you have to also remember, in this Gulf country, there's a lot of money. So part of the reason Saudi players don't move abroad
there's cash.
And there's a similar, if you notice now, there's not a lot of Mexican players playing abroad now as well. Because Mexico has a lot of money for
Mexico has a rich league.
Exactly. So sometimes it's not that the players are not necessarily good enough, but to go for lower wages is not. It's
not practical.
There's no incentive for that.
Yeah. This one here, romantic bad weather from Achimota. Says Nketia, the GFA is confused like the management of Accra House of Folk. This one he says from Eswana Eye from Insawam. I'm not sure what that means. Say Charlie, the Felix in marriage matter in that intro always makes me never laugh. It never gets old. He says Chairman chose love over job. The GFA is expanding the ESCO because they want to create jobs for unemployed football people. Galactico inside Zam City. This one here says that Gobe Sikan Sifie, aka Addicted to Gobe, listening live from Dansoman. Says UEFA Europa League to Spain, Conference League to England, Champions League to Italy. Simple as that. Thank you. This one here says that Nanake, the fashion designer from La Paz, says the Messi is not even a Barca player. Why in the world did they put out this press release? Not necessary. I like the certain statement of it about Messi not wanting to compete at the highest level anymore and not wanting the rigors and pressures that come with being in the spotlight.
That's Barcelona.
I think he also said himself that he was thinking about his family. He wanted a more relaxed atmosphere.
And I'm hearing he's been
PSG released that statement.
I'm hearing he's been offered a stake in the Inter Miami club.
There are so many other goodies.
So we'll talk about that expansively next week. I promise that. That's why Nketia, please stop the interview. The man does not know why he has even thrown his hat into the FA's presidency race. I think you're talking about Kojo Yankah. This one says Klopp is building a team that will give City a run for their money in the EPL. If all the rumors we hear about the potential signings are true. Shout out to Susu, solid guy, Kojo.
Shout out to Kojo and Tema.
Thank you. Jeff Tana from Medina says the FA wants more years to bury our football after killing it. Ghana football will not rise in the hands of these people. Wish my friend Lochu David. So David Lochu. Happy birthday to you. Let's talk about the Champions League final. Inter Milan have been painted the overwhelming underdogs heading into this one. Coach, let me start off with you. Guardiola has literally blown everybody apart this season. Inter have had one of the toughest runs in the Champions League, emerged from a group that had Barca and Bayern Munich. They've played their city rivals. They've literally passed every test that has been presented to them this season. They face, and in their own manager's words, the best team in Europe now, with probably the best manager at the helm of affairs as well. What kind of game allows Inter Milan to win against this Manchester City team that just blows even the best away?
It's simple. They have to be themselves. They have to represent what Italian football actually represents. It's going to be a game of tiki-taka against Catenaccio. That is what I see it to be. Pep Guardiola will want to impose himself, and I think Inter is a better team without the ball.
Better team without the ball. Explain to me how vital that will be in a final of this nature.
Is it because of the fact that they've got a proper outlet in Edin Dzeko, a proper outlet in Lautaro Martinez? They can afford Man City to have the ball and drop off them in a very solid Catenaccio defensive network. What that means, I expect Simeone Inzaghi to go a back five, 3 in the middle. That becomes 5 in the middle when they have the ball. And then 2 very good attackers in Dzeko and Lautaro Martinez, where everybody will have to be in our half. Start your movement in the inter half. So that because they've got an outlet in Dzeko, they don't need to try and bypass the press.
Yeah,
they can go route one. And I see Dzeko bullying, apart from, is it Akanji? Eh? Akanji.
Yeah.
Apart from him, I don't see any Man City defender handling Edin Dzeko in the air. And what Dzeko does, he can cushion the ball better with his head. He can go up and put the ball in his chest. And Inter is so dangerous under possession when the ball goes to Dzeko and players are moving off him. That is where the likes of Lautaro Martinez, the likes of the midfielder, is it Barella? Eh?
Yeah, Nicolo very top, very good player.
And then is it Tololonglu?
Çalhanoğlu. I like the guy in defense. Bastoni.
Bastoni is excellent.
Left-footed defense centre back.
They will deal with the matter at the back. So if Inter really do want to win this game, they have to be themselves. And being themselves, they have to play to their strength. And that is the typical Italian way of doing it. For Man City, there's only one way. Pick the ball, dominate the object. But I think that a team is most vulnerable when they have the ball. Because defensively, they are not the strongest. Their defensive shape is always not what it should be. That is why if you look at Pep Guardiola's team, anytime they lose the ball, they want to press and win it, or if possible, commit a foul to stop the game from progression. If Inter can avoid that, I think they can avoid that. Because it is when you win the ball off Man City and you try to pass through them, that is where they're able to foul you tactically and stop the game from progressing. But in Edin Dzeko and Lautaro Martinez, the Inter Milan players don't need to attempt to pass the ball in between the Man City press. You win the ball, give it to Onana, who is a very good goalkeeper with his feet, and then let him go long to Edin Dzeko. And once it gets to Dzeko, Man City will be playing a very high line. If it gets to Dzeko and he can hold it on, something that Manchester United were lacking last week in Marcus Rashford. If Dzeko can hold it on, and the likes of Martinez, Barella, the Dutch boy, the Dumfries, with their pace, and then the left guy, is it DiMarco? DiMarco. These guys are very good.
A very underrated player.
Look, it's a very solid.
One of the best
left back and left wing back I have seen in recent times. So if they can play to their strength, it is also, look, Man City, they'll play De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Rodri. I think he'll be the most important Man City player tomorrow. Because,
Rodri.
Yes, if he were to get too much involved in the build-up and isolate Dzeko and any of the centre back, he does not need to be chasing the ball when Inter is on the counter-attack. He needs to be behind the ball to see and anticipate where they will go next after Dzeko. Then he begins to step in there to control issues. But if he has to chase the ball when they go to Jekyll, I think they will have serious.
I'll take 60 seconds from everybody on this one and then
Quick
we'll
one,
wrap it
Ben.
up.
For me, City wins this one. The pain of 2021, that defeat to Chelsea will do the magic for them. And
You can be in pain and still come and
I've heard coaches' analysis and all that. And for Pep, he says this game is more like a dream and an obsession. And I think that, for me, he won't change much.
You go and ask Ghana how we were pained by Uruguay and still lost the war.
He won't change much from how he approached the Man United game. Just that they'll take this game a notch higher. I still think Pep will go for that 3-2-4-1 formation. Grealish, Silva, De Bruyne, Gundogan, just behind Erling Haaland. Possessive football from Pep Guardiola. Soak the sort of attack that the Inter Milan team will have on with their fullbacks. I think that Pep anticipates whatever Simone Inzaghi will do. This, for me, is even an easier final than the FA Cup final. Thank you. City wins.
I'm also backing Pichichi. I don't think it's be an easy final, but I think the quality of Man City will shine too. I think Man City right now are a bit more adaptable. They're a bit more flexible. They're a bit more resilient than they've been in previous years. Look, Pep Guardiola plays 4 centre backs. They have 4 centre backs on the pitch, so they are compact, and I think they've figured out how to.
Is there no disadvantage in that?
The thing is, because the centre backs are all good on the ball, they can all progress the ball, they can all play the ball. You don't lose anything. So they are solid in defending transition because of these centre backs. You know, John Stones moves into midfield, so it moves into a back 3 when it has to be, a back 4 when it has to be. And the truth is, Rodri can even drop into centre defense. So if they want to play a back 5 at certain points, they can do it. So they are just too flexible for me at this point. And it's not Inter Milan's fault. Look, they're a good team. Inzaghi is a good coach, and I've praised him. I remember I praised him on this show. At the beginning, you guys thought they wouldn't get out of the group, and I said they would because I believed in them. I thought they could be better than Barca, and they've gone all the way. So it's not that I don't rate Simone Inzaghi at all. I rate him very highly.
But they are meeting
sometimes you are meeting your master. You are meeting someone on a level above you, and I think Pep Guardiola has.
Like when Pep met Mourinho a couple of years ago.
When was that?
When?
Oh, you've forgotten?
When?
Mourinho's Inter Milan.
Oh, okay.
He saw his smoothness level. He saw his smoothness level.
Fair enough. But you see, it was so long ago, it's not even relevant.
I remember very well.
I also remember.
Thank you for reminding me. But the point is, just for me, I rate Simone Inzaghi a lot. But if you are mentioning Mourinho as someone who is, or even Tuchel, I think he's just in the tier below. And that's why I just don't trust him. It's not that Inter Milan can't win.
Inter will not make this thing expansive. They will do like Manchester did last week.
Oh,
make it an
coach,
ugly game.
No, coach, I understand that. But even the fact
they will not make the mistake that Man United
But
made.
I'm just saying, even the fact that if you look at their centre backs, you see Bastoni, you see Acerbi, you see Matteo Darmian starting as their centre backs. Just the quality is just a bit lower. And those are the
Acerbi's been playing football forever.
And those are the little things that just put in Man City's favor. Look, I'm not saying Inter can't win, but I'll be very surprised if they do.
City have made better team
give
than
me
this.
good news.
Better
These
team.
two people are naysayers.
No, City have made better teams.
Let me show you. I was telling some people something.
The Inter way.
Where Man City are now, in terms of a team, the evolution is almost complete. Now, where they are is all mental. It's all in their head.
The more pressure,
But you see, Chris, when I look at this Man City team, I think that they've come to understand that it comes with being as good as they are. There will be pressure. But I think they understand what they've experienced ever since Pep came in, their heartbreaks and everything. Everything has strengthened them that tomorrow's final, I think in their minds right now, wherever they are, they've told themselves, we've won this Champions League.
Exactly.
I'm not saying so. Then I make this point. I say that, you see the heights where Man United got to, and that's Alex Ferguson. A lot of those times, it's not because they were better than the teams on the pitch, but psychologically they were superior. And they were confident in their ability.
I saw this with Pep Guardiola's Barcelona teams.
Yes. You know who will finish the game tomorrow?
Thank you. Tell me, my brother.
Romelu Lukaku.
Big Rom.
So if you ask me, personally, don't get me wrong. If Lukaku wins the Champions League for Inter Milan, I'll be the happiest man on
Thank
earth.
you.
But it won't happen.
But the point is that
it won't happen.
I'm saying
it won't happen.
You look at Man City, and I go back to something Bernardo Silva said when they knocked out Bayern Munich. He said, listen, we've learned our lessons. We've gone through all kinds of experiences where in the past we were obsessed with the ball. Now, not so much. And this Man City team is probably the most defensive team Pep has. The most defensive
So
Man City
they're not
team.
looking to play a final. They're looking to
This is
win a
what I think
final.
will happen. I think they'll try and start the game as quickly as they did against Man United. Once City go ahead, the game is done for them.
Which will not happen.
It will happen.
Look,
Oh, it
the
will happen.
Catanaccio
Forget
Catanaccio will be on full display tomorrow.
Forget
Thank you,
Catanaccio.
coach. That's why I believe you. Thank you very much. Let's do quick shouts before we go. Quick shout outs before we go. Quick shouts. Quick shouts.
Oh,
Charlie.
It is the birthday of somebody very special. Yesterday was her birthday. She's the registrar. One of the exceptionally good ladies I have worked with and continue to work with. She's Mrs. Agatha Chibu, the registrar of Ghana Christian International High School.
Madam Agatha.
Look, she's so beautiful. She's beautiful phenotypically. When you see her, her beauty speaks for itself.
Thank you, my brother.
And her husband says, I should read this for him.
Please, do us the honors.
He said, to my beautiful wife, Mrs. Agatha Tibo, a very happy birthday to you. You are the light of my life and make every day special. I love you more with each passing day.
Thank you.
And I'm very excited about all the upcoming holds. You are my beautiful butterfly. And I feel so grateful for everything that you bring into my life. May your day be joyful and magical. Happy birthday, my darling. I just want to tell Mrs. Agatha Chibu, the registrar of Ghana Christian International High School, from Mr. Nimley. Sweetheart, you are truly lovely. God bless you. You will receive every important gift that is associated with being the wife.
3 bell
of
rings
Mr.
here. 3 bell rings on this
Chibu.
show.
We love you. We love you.
People they make
We love
marriage
you.
they be.
God bless you.
Charlie.
God bless you, my dear.
Charlie,
You
coach,
are indeed
you know, coach,
very, very
coach
sweet.
on top of being a coach, a chemist, and a journalist, or let's say a pundit, coach could also be a love doctor.
She saw me today,
Aw.
and she said the breakdown or the rundown to events unfolding will be completed on Monday.
Thank you.
Monday, I'll come for the details myself. God bless you, Aga.
Thank you. Pichichi.
Coach has made me want to get married.
Master, if you want to get married and stop taking your inspiration from somewhere.
I don't want to expose him, but I'll say shout out to Kojo from Tema. I appreciate the message. I want to say happy birthday to our colleague.
Big up.
It was Edna's birthday today. She's now on the
Edna.
business, formerly of online. So
Nice,
we
nice.
want to wish her
Her
a happy.
I hope somebody else's birthday in the office too. Somebody else's birthday.
I didn't see on the page.
Okay, maybe it's Edna.
Edna.
Big
I
shout out
only
to
know
Edna
Edna, so-
and a happy birthday to her as well.
Charlie, tomorrow
Nathan-
there's a viewing thing. Oh.
Yeah, viewing
yeah.
thing. We'll get into it in a bit. Yeah, so Nathan.
Yeah, no shouts for me. I just want to say that somebody on the Accra Academy 2004 page said it was their birthday tomorrow. The person's
Money
WhatsApp
shout,
name
Kakrama, me
is
quick.
Echo. I didn't get the person's government name, but Echo, Charlie, happy birthday in advance. Tomorrow is your birthday. I wish you very well, Echo of the Accra Academy 2004 year group.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Susu. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Pichichi. My name is Benjamin Inketia. Thank you very much for all your messages. The link for the show will be on Twitter and on social media, so you can listen if you missed out. There'll be a playback tomorrow as well. It's been absolutely wonderful coming your way. Show proudly brought to us by Bell Beverages. Puka. Recharge the African way. Shell Helix for superior performance. And of course, Betway. Enjoy the programming. Don't touch that dial. We are out.